I don't know why I did that. It's me, Moonhorse, and I'm going to read you stories. This is from Artemis of Athens, which is an awesome name. The Lesbian Legbeard. Oh boy. Getting into, like, different territory now. Hello, Moonhorse.
Hi.
And friends. You guys say hi now. Believe it or not, they heard you. They probably didn't, but I'm going to believe they did. Magic. I'm a second-time poster. Been a long-time subscriber to your channel. I love your content and the community you've created. Oh, you're too kind. Thank you very much. Anyway, I want to share my story of how I met a bona fide lesbian Legbeard. So, here we go. Grab your strongest liquor, and maybe a crucifix just to be safe. The characters, myself, Artemis of Athens, a nerdy, reserved, but openly friendly redhead with a very strong sarcastic streak. And then there's Rocket, my best friend, and the most awesome dreadhead punk rocker around. He's in his early 30s, is a hard-edged, street-smart guy with a heart of gold, mouth like a sailor, and is a dynamite single father who takes no shit. So, a little context here. I'm 26, openly bisexual, like, very openly bisexual. The magnitude of my bisexuality is legendary. Ever since I, as a wee Artemis, saw a spread of Sarah Michelle Gellar, and a new nirvana had opened up before me. But I digress. I swing both ways, and in equal measure. Don't prefer one over the other, which I make clear to anyone who is curious or asks. I'm not easily offended either way. People are allowed to wonder. But this journey into not a nirvana, but more akin to my own personal divine comedy, started when, after a train wreck of a relationship with a guy that turned out to be a stalker. Yeesh. I, after waiting a little while to jump back into the game, decided to go to the other team this time. I had been with women at this point, but it was more for the fun, not for the romance. I wanted this one to be different, to find a girlfriend, not a fuck buddy, which I found in my rural community was a tad difficult. So I ventured to the uncharted territory known as lesbian dating apps. I'd always been a supporter of equal rights for all, LGBT included, but what I would find delving further into the community was surprising. It seemed that the B part of LGBT was the sort of pariah of the culture. The stereotypes of our promiscuity and cheating were taken as gospel, which, to their small credit, existed for a reason. I've known my share of the sort as well. I and many more, however, do not screw around, but oh, if you're not already labeled out of the gate, the second they read bisexual. I mention this mostly because it's something that I was never warned about, so I hope to enlighten others who may not know just how bad the stigma within the community can be, and it plays a big part in my relationship's downfall. Of course, I can't speak for all. I'm sure there are more who are chill and understanding than not, but I'm just unlucky, I guess. Anyhow, after months of no luck, I run across a pic of a lady with an awesome blue mohawk, which I was compelled to compliment. And it started from there. She, appearance-wise, was not particularly leg-beardy. In fact, she looked like a lot of the other lesbians of the more butch persuasion. Short hair, styled in an undercut, masculine or gender-neutral attire, but she had dark skin on account of her Native American heritage. Crazy colored hair, tattoos, very artistic. My only weakness. What was Legbeardy was that she was a hermit, lived with her parents in her 30s, and complained about her exes, all of which also had dyed red hair and were bisexual. Allegedly, all of them had cheated on her with a man. I should have seen that coming. But a crush is a powerful sedative for brain activity. I took it all in stride because I'm very chill and understanding, probably more than I should be at times. She had a rough life and was pretty damaged, but in some ways, so am I. In fact, we've all been damaged in some ways, so I try not to judge. I actually should have probably been quicker to judge on this one. Over the course of 4 months, we chatted over the internet, what would blossom into a long-distance relationship. I admit, I really cared about her. She seemed like a dream come true. She's funny, kind, into the same nerdy stuff as me, but it was a lot easier to build yourself up over the safety of a computer screen. It was when I met her in person that things got strange. After a few dates, I thought everything was going well. Then while on break at work, I was greeted by a picture. We sent those every day, nothing NSFW, that's not really my thing, of her in tears because her dog, who she had for over a decade, was about to be put down. Oh my god. I remember how much it crushed me to see her like that. I felt just awful, saying that she was going through all this. I went straight to her house after my shift, the whole 42.3 miles. We spent some quality time together, which I'm fine with, of course, except that she was highly critical of my performance. Not that I'm bad, and this is where it gets weird, I didn't feel like my heart was in it. I wasn't making love. I still don't know what she wanted to do exactly, without getting graphic on the details, but let's say she nearly got me there, only to cut it off during to give me some sort of big confession or something, only to stop everything when I didn't tell her what she wanted to hear. I cared for her, but a heart and hand confession, it just felt really strange and kind of soon at the moment. I don't like saying I love you or the like lightly, and this was like she was trying to force me to say it, instead of it just coming out naturally. She also kept complaining that I wasn't as emotionally involved as I should be. Like I said, accused me of not being into girls, etc. I'm a reserved person by nature, but I'm not cold. I do care about people, a lot. And yeah, I admit I have a tough time expressing myself emotionally at times. But I thought my actions kind of spoke for themselves. I know it's not good to keep score, but I literally came all the way out there out of pure empathy to pull an all-nighter with her and then to go to work the next day, just so she wouldn't feel alone. And I, at the time, thought I was the one fucking it all up because I was not responding properly, that something was wrong with me. So I just rolled with what she wanted, thinking she's upset. Big mistake. That little inch I gave become a fucking triathlon. More time passed, as usual. I still having the rose-colored glasses on pretty good. Looking back, I realized that she went above damaged and was more in line with unstable. She'll be fine one minute and then freak out over something minor the next. I tried to tell myself that she was just passionate, but referring to a baby as a parasite is pretty sickening. Like I said, she had a rough life, but to hold such hate for something so innocent, it didn't exactly compute with me. I invited her over one weekend, and it was good at first. Then it started to click where we weren't exactly a match made in heaven. For starters, while the sex was better, I was still scolded for being not present. I literally couldn't have been more present if I tried. My attention was undivided, but somehow it just wasn't enough. Cue her admitting to being a brat and needy. Both are traits she knew I didn't care for in a partner, as I told her early on. I was not impressed. I like my space. I'm not cuddly 100% of the time, but I shrugged it off. I was going to make the most of it. Then more Legbeard traits started happening. She barely showered when at my place. I'm not a neat freak, but if I'm going to go down on you, regular basic hygiene shouldn't be too much to ask. She didn't change her clothes, even though she brought a whole bag with her. Ugh. Another gross thing was that my toilet wasn't flushing properly, and the landlord wasn't going to be back till Monday. But luckily, I could flush so long as I filled the back of the toilet. She, rather than let me know if there was too much toilet paper in the toilet, she just literally wiped and tossed it in the bin beside it the whole weekend. Fucking ew. What? Holy shit, dude. Didn't bother to tell me that until the last day. It was gross. Yeah, I fucking bet it was. Holy shit. She was also very disrespectful. I'm all for lovers being very into each other, and I was very into her, but she was grabbing at me a lot, even in public. I really don't like that with my partners. I have always liked my space, as I said, and what we do behind closed doors, I don't want to display for the whole fucking world. She was also DTF constantly, which is fine. Some are just wired like that. I'm wired a little differently. I'm of the variety that isn't DTF constantly. In fact, I'm actually on the demisexual side of the spectrum. I'm no prude, and I enjoy it, and if I may say, I'm pretty good at it, but it's not I'm all in for. I want to be able to talk to you, enjoy you without the pressure or feelings of obligation. I do believe in giving your partner what they want, especially in that area. She made no mystery that she didn't care for what I wanted to do. She was bored whenever I wanted to do anything else, really. She would get mad or huffy if I told her I wasn't in the mood, which, this is the fucked up thing, she hated. She hated that I was so vocal about my wants and needs. In the following week, she would jokingly refer to me as the nun, sprite, anything associated with not having sex, even though we have been intimate several times by then. Just in her mind, I had a lot of nerve for not catering to her every demand. How dare I place a boundary? This was all just Friday. I didn't even get started with Saturday, when she meets my male best friend. But I'll get to that later. For now, just enjoy this. I hope the cross hasn't melted, and I hope your drink is still full. I'll see you next time. Oh, wow. Okay. Artemis, that hits weirdly close to home for me. I had exes like that. Exes who were super demanding, and if you didn't do exactly what they wanted when they wanted it, you were the worst fucking thing that ever existed. I even had friends, I say friends very loosely, who did shit like that. The kind of person that would text you and be like, oh, I really, I need to see you, we need to hang out, all this other shit. And then it dropped like, oh, but I also need you to fix this. And you're like, I can't drop everything. I'm at work to just, go and do this. Their only response is, okay. And then you don't hear from them for 24 hours. Yeah, users. Self-centered, sociopathic motherfuckers who don't give a shit about anything except getting what they want. Fucking horrible. As for what Artemis said about the stigma about bisexual people within communities, yeah, that's kind of right. If I don't usually discuss my weird sexuality because what I am is, as I have said multiple times, if we had to really put a label on it, I sexually identify as a fucking disappointment. Whatever you think is going to happen, it's not going to be that good. I also really get into one person. Like, if I am, in this case, Sango, I am, deeply dedicated to Sango. And when I was with my exes, they would get really, let's say, accusatory and kind of insulting, especially when they found out that I'm bi. So I constantly got the comments about, you're gonna cheat on me with some guy. It's like, I have never cheated on you. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Why would you say that? You're supposed to be the person that is in my life that I can trust and that I can care about and who cares about me, and I can tell you anything, and you would accuse me of cheating with someone who doesn't even exist in the middle of an argument about something like, I don't like the show that we're watching, and I'll just work on something else because I know it's your show and I'm just not really that into it. And this is the response. That happened multiple times with some of my exes, where it's just like, I like this thing, and it's like, well, I'm not really into it, but I don't really want to take away your attention from it, so I'll just do something quietly until, you're done. It's like, you're fucking horrible, you're the worst, and that kind of shit would break out, and then of course I'd hear, oh, because you're bi, you're gonna cheat on me with some guy, and it's like, thanks for saying I'm a piece of shit. Really appreciate that. So, yeah, I don't... that is a stigma, and I fucking hate it. There are people who just... That's their thing, you know, but I hate that has to be associated with... Of course, if we're talking about association with stuff, I could very easily go, I'm also a man. Let the terrible shit flow from there. Because a lot of the shit that's associated with guys, although a large portion of it, very justified, I will say that. There is a large portion of shit that's just kind of associated with men in general, which is just kind of, yes, that is a thing. But at the same time, it's not something that all guys, you know, do, but it's this thing we all hear, and I think that's the reason why we have those people who are just like, not all men, or not all this, and like, yeah, no one needs you to say not all that. It's just we're really frustrated, and the same thing can be said of the bisexual community. Yes, not everyone who's bisexual is going to cheat on you with someone of their same or opposite gender. Please stop fucking bringing it up. You know, like, if we're obviously dedicated to this relationship, we're obviously dedicated to the relationship. Why would you fucking say that unless you really don't want the relationship to work? I have noticed that. I will say this from my own personal experience, and I hope this helps Artemis and others. All my exes have made at least some comment about because I'm openly bisexual, that I would, in fact, cheat on them with someone of the same gender. Or opposite gender, depending on, you know, who I'm dating. That has never happened since I started going out with Sango. Never. And that's how I know that, for the first time in my life, I'm in a really, actually healthy and good relationship. Because all the negative shit my really horrible exes and ex-friends, for that matter, people who really wanted me to go out with them, but I wasn't feeling it and decided to just be manipulative and crazy, they would say horrible shit to me all the time to kind of like drag me down. I have never had that, and Sango and I have been together almost 4 years now. Never had that problem. Hell, we fucking don't even argue. That's just not a thing. Like, we talk about everything, so yeah. Basically what I'm saying is, this person, this Legbeard that you were having to deal with, sounds like a lot of my toxic relationships, and I deeply feel for you having to go through all this. I am so very sorry. That is fucking horrible, man. I did notice in your, the comments at the end there, you said that this relationship is over and she is long gone, and I'm very happy about that. I'm so glad you're not having to suffer through that shit anymore. But I'm sorry you had to deal with it in the first place. And if you guys are having to deal with toxic relationships or anything like that, I said this in another video, cut those fucking people out of your life, man. Block them if you have to. Cut them the fuck out. They don't deserve your time. They don't deserve your fucking effort. They don't deserve your attention. They're fucking horrible people. Maybe someday they'll change. But you know what it isn't? It isn't your job to change them. If they want to change themselves down the line and become a better person, they can do that. And maybe you can talk to them again. Because maybe then they'll be worth your time. But it's not your job to change them. It's not your job to make them better. So, yeah, with all that being said, I hope you guys have a wonderful... Well, it's actually really late here. So I hope you have a wonderful morning, because it's like 3 a.m. I should go to bed. And I love you all so very, very much. If you're enjoying this, I would like to send in your own stories. Send it to r/Moonhorse stories. I check it every day, my man. And if you'd like to keep the lights on in this place, there's a Patreon. There's a merch store. I'm pointing like they're actually on screen, and you can see me. They're not. It's fine, but it's okay. You can go to those things. I put new stuff in the merch store. There's like stickers and stuff now, too. You should check them out. They're pretty cool. Bubs bought some the other day. I'm really happy about that. Because he's like one of my best friends. So, I love you all so very, very much, and I'll see you in the next episode. I hope you have a wonderful rest of whatever it is you're doing. Goodbye!